Good morning. Happy Monday. I hope you have some really strong coffee. This coffee is sustaining me. Speaking of sustaining, I just went live over on my Instagram, and I do live archetype readings on a pretty regular basis. I wouldn't say I do them weekly, but several times a month on my Instagram, and you can follow me there at MEEMME.yoga. So I highly recommend tuning into those. Archetypes are a special way for us to understand different aspects of ourself, like parts of our soul maybe that we haven't touched physically or tangibly, and aspects of why we make decisions that help us recognize there's always a positive and a negative to everything. So sometimes we feel like a situation is entirely negative, but we can recognize that if we take a second to observe the situation from all angles, we can find positive and negative inside of that to learn from and to shift our perspective into a more positive space, especially if we're feeling dark and overwhelmed. First card is the Fool. I always find it very interesting when I pull the Fool card, mostly because I would never consider myself to be a fool, yet I act foolishly often. Foolishly in the sense that I forget to think before I act. Seven of Water is our next card. Water in this deck relates to our emotions and our mind, and the flexibility of our mind to say, yes, I believe this is true, I can, or no, I can let that go. This no longer serves me, I can let that go. Ooh, this is a beautiful card. We've pulled the Sun. Let's do a 3-card rating today. In case you are local to Hawaii, I have started teaching yoga on Mondays at the YMCA in Mililani. And it's been a really, I want to say beautiful experience. And I say beautiful experience because sometimes we can grow up with a mindset of a certain corporation or a company or nonprofits or et cetera, et cetera. And how beautiful is it that later on, like maybe we have a negative connotation of this organization, and we find out later on that things have changed, that minds are open, hearts are open, wallets are open, not for control of other people, but to control the fact that we have a space provided to all people. It's beautiful stuff. I'm so grateful to be teaching there. It's inclusive, and that's what's so important to me, because Jesus, if you want to be a Jesus follower, and if you want to be a Jesus believer, Christ follower, Christian, Jesus Christ saved my life, recognize this. Jesus did not come to hang out with Christians. He didn't come to spend time with Christians. Do you want to know why? They didn't need him. The people who already walked in the steps of Jesus did not need Jesus. Jesus went to the people who were hurting because they had been rejected by Christians, by the Pharisees. They were called Pharisees in those times. Jesus ministered to the people that the churches and the temples said, no, thank you. You don't belong here. That's what I feel like we do at the Y. We encourage that mindset of you are welcome here. You are family here. You matter. You have space. You can take up space. No matter what you look like, no matter how you express yourself in a gender way, if you can be respectful to the community, you belong here. And how special is that? So special, I believe. First card we pulled, Universal Energy. It's a 0 number, just beginning, a full enthusiasm. I know that a spiritual approach rarely appears logical and sometimes even impractical. However, when this card appears, I can take a risk and trust that with faith, anything is possible. The invisible realms will reveal each step along the way. I am meant to experience this regardless of where I travel. This is a time when I'm learning that I am a spiritual being having a human experience. You know, a lot of times I've thought that I could run away from this problem, run away from that problem, curate the situations around me so that my life is free of problems. That is not a sustainable worldview. It is simply not a sustainable worldview, because the fact of the matter is that we have no control outside of what's inside. My thoughts, my actions, and my words. 7 of water. Imagination, fantasy, artistic endeavors, co-creative abilities unleashed. Now is the time to tune in to the infinite possibilities that exist and begin to play with them. Everything begins in the world of imagination, and I seize the opportunity to dream. I allow my intuition and desire to blend in an alchemical way, forming something new. Do you know where all life comes out of? Water. Castles in the air can become castles on the ground when I release rigidity, bend the rules, and remain flexible and open. Limitations and boundaries give way to manifestation. A big part of the reason why is because my vision is limited to what I have already seen. And so if I want to manifest something that I've never seen before, how successful am I going to be? Maybe not super successful. And maybe that's why I need to give myself the boundary of faith. I know what I want. I don't know how I'm going to get it. So if I just hold this heart's desire in front of the universe knows that I want land for animals. I want a little house for shelter. I want space to be able to host other people on a semi-regular basis. That's what I want. Do I know how it's going to manifest? How it's going to appear in my life? Absolutely not. Do I have steps in place to make it happen? Yeah. Am I attached to those steps? Attached to the point where I would deny something else because I'm so sure about my plan? Absolutely not. Because I've been there before. And I have barreled forward with my plan and my best thought. And you know what? It brought me so much pain. Pain is not always a bad thing. We learn from pain. And what I have learned is that I no longer want to give myself ultimate responsibility for manifesting the future that I want. I recognize spirit has a shit ton to do with it, and all I need to do is maintain my relationship. Keep giving the spirit my heart, being honest and open with what I want. It will manifest. 19, Sun. Last card, abundance. At this time, everything is possible, and everything I need to know is illuminated. Projects come to fruition, relationships flourish, and my growth is assured. This is a time of plenty. It's important that I share this abundance with others. I am deeply grateful. I want to talk about something really, really quickly, because when Adam and Eve were in the garden before they ate the fruit, in the beginning, God recognized that if we knew the infinite abundance, we also might be overwhelmed because we have free will. They knew that if we understood light and dark, we might end up focusing on dark. That was a risk when you give a being free will. So in the beginning, that knowledge wasn't given to them. They still behaved the exact same way that every other human has ever behaved in the history of mankind. Yet, they did not know that when they observed one animal consuming the other animal's flesh, that was wrong. It was normal, acceptable. And one of the things that we have to recognize is that we often label things as wrong. Is it even our business? Probably not. Instead, it's that desire to be the one in charge, to be the one calling the shots, the one in judgment, the one in charge. It's not for us to judge each other, to judge the world around us, to judge ourselves. Only God, the culmination of this entire universe, has that power. So can I recognize that just as top leaders in this country operate on a need-to-know basis, the universe and I operate on a need-to-know basis. And sometimes what I think I need to know, I need to trust and believe. And sometimes I need to take action, whether that be internal action, physical action, maybe inaction is an action at this point. So many thoughts to think about today as we move into a new week. Where's my energy going? Am I being foolish with my energy? Am I setting up proper boundaries around myself so that the things that I wish to manifest have space to come to me? Thank you all for tuning in with me today for this tarot reading. So many energies are shifting in our country, in our culture, and in ourselves. This is a time of great abundance. I'm so grateful to be a part of this and to be a part of it with you. Have an amazing Monday.